This whole wall is wet.
Really hoping it lasts longer than 5 hours, or else I'm going to be freezing tonight. Welcome back. Today I'm winter camping, but I'm going to be using an electric blanket instead of a heater to try to keep me warm. I've been getting some comments recommending to use an electric blanket instead of a diesel heater because of how much stuff I have to carry with the diesel heater, including diesel, the heater, the hoses, connecting everything, the mount for the tires, setting everything up. So this time I'm going to be giving an electric blanket a try. But first, let's set up the tent. So this is the blanket itself. It's got a soft, fluffy material on the inside, and then they've got a little four-step controller, and then a regular outlet plug. Never used one of these, so we'll see. Sun is starting to set, and here's the site. Check out in here. I've got my blanket, my sleeping bag. I've got the power station right here in the corner, and then I've got the actual electric blanket. So here is the ratings on my sleeping bag. So the comfort rating is 0 degrees, and then -6 is the limit of comfort, and then the extreme is -23. Realistically, having used the sleeping bag, 0 is the limit of comfort. The limit of comfort being -6 is like you won't freeze all night. You'll probably get a bit of sleep, but 0 degrees is kind of the limit. So -10 is definitely pushing it. So I'm hoping this blanket will keep me warm. And I think this blanket will keep me warm, but the problem is the power station. If that thing dies from getting too cold, this will die. And then I'm stuck freezing. Now let's get started on dinner. Like I said, for dinner, I'm going to be making tacos. So I've got my firewood there. Okay, so I've made up my mind. I'm going to get the fire going and make the tacos right on the fire. So this is leftover steak that I chopped up. This is a nice little burner, so I don't have to take anything massive out. So while that heats up, I'm gonna chop up the rest of the ingredients. So I've got cilantro, tomatoes, and then I've got an onion and a lime. So the steak's starting to smell nice and heat up. Now I'm gonna get my tortillas. Let's go put these on the fire. Fire roasted steak tacos. These are so good. So after this and some dessert, I'm gonna hop in my tent and I'm gonna turn on my electric blanket. Last video, I was gonna make some hot chocolate, but unfortunately, I forgot the hot chocolate mix. So this time, I did not forget, and we're gonna make some. Perfect. Now I'm just gonna pour it into this cup so I don't spill it and it stays warm. These are awesome. Tiny. You could just fold them up like this. And they fit in your pocket. And then these last about maybe 20 water boils, 15, depends on how long you're boiling. Pretty awesome too. It's all lightweight. You can just put it anywhere. Whew. It's getting cold outside, but it's a lot nicer than what I've camped in before. Here's the blanket. So I did plug it in once at home into the wall to make sure it works, but I did not plug it into the power station yet. And when I did plug it in at home, as you can see, it was cat approved and it was very, very cozy. So I'm excited to use it tonight. I'm gonna plug this in right now and then let's see how it heats. It's really soft, as you can see. So first up, let's plug it into the power station. I'm gonna plug into this outlet right here. I'm gonna try to turn it on to level 3 at first. And let's see how it heats up. Let's see how much power it's gonna draw from this battery. So right now it's saying 122 watts, 121, 5 hours remaining. So this at 100 watts should last 7.5 hours. So it should last me the night. But we'll see how it goes. This battery is also going to get cold tonight. So I'm hoping it doesn't shut off. I'm hoping it works pretty good. And I'm hoping the 110 watt rating is at maximum. So I can put it down to maybe second and keep up some battery in here. but it is on. I can actually feel the coils getting a little bit warm now. So I'm gonna put this blanket under this one to keep the heat in. Gonna get pretty cold tonight, so I'm hoping this keeps me warm. One thing I do have to say though that you guys were right about is the fact that this is an easy setup. I just put in the power station here, which I usually have for my phone and stuff anyway in the summer. All I have to do is get this blanket up here and everything else is good. In here it's actually pretty warm, which I'm pretty surprised about. I guess because of my body heat and the insulation. And right now the battery is saying it's going to last about 5 hours on a full charge. I'm hoping it's going to last longer than that because right now it is only 7, I guess. Yeah, it's 7 o'clock. And if it lasts 5 hours, by 12 it's going to be done. So I'm really hoping it lasts longer than 5 hours, or else I'm going to be freezing tonight. It keeps going on and off. I guess there's a regulator in the blanket that turns it off and on to manage the heat. So if it's going off and on, then that technically should be 10 hours of runtime. I'm just going to chill here for now, finish my hot chocolate, and I'm going to update you guys in the next hour to see how much power it's been drawing, and then we'll go on from there. Right, so here's the update. It is 9:50 right now, and I started the heated blanket exactly 3 hours ago. And in those 3 hours, my power station... So over those 3 hours, my power station's at 76%. I've also charged my camera with it and my phone. I've used about 20%, I would say, on the blanket. If it's doing 20% in 3 hours of use, then this power station should be drained in about 15 hours, which would be awesome, and I'd be warm for the whole night, but we'll have to see. I've got my sleeping bag, and then I actually stuffed the blanket inside of my sleeping bag. There's no condensation in my tent, which is one thing I was worried about. Another thing is just the power station. If this big thing doesn't power this heated blanket for one night, you're gonna have to buy like $1,000 power station. So it's just pretty unnecessary. But so far, the ease of setup is the best part. Especially, it's gonna be the ease of putting everything away. I don't have to use the tire mount for the diesel heater and stuff. Obviously, this solution won't keep me warm in -30, but a night like this, so far, I've been really happy with it. And inside the tent, it's actually quite warm because the electric blanket's putting off heat as well as myself. So it's a lot warmer than it is outside in here. Another thing that's annoying with these heated blankets, though, is that they actually shut off every 4 hours for this one. It's sometimes 3 for some of the other ones. So every 4 hours, I have to turn this back on. So I'm going to be setting one alarm for the night. 4 hours apart, so I can turn this back on in 4 hours, and then I should be good for 8 hours of sleep if I wake up once. So it shouldn't be too much of a problem, but it is a little bit annoying if you want to get a full night's sleep. So I'm going to keep it on the flow setting because it's really warm in the sleeping bag. I'm actually hot. This blanket is a great solution so far. It's not cheaper though. This blanket was $100, 70 on sale, and that power station was $500. So that's $600. That smaller power station I was using is, I believe, $200 or $300. And then the diesel heater is $200 with the hose and everything. So it's cheaper to actually have a diesel heater and a smaller power station than this setup. But this setup is definitely quieter. It's not ticking in your ear all night. It's safer. You don't have diesel fumes potentially blowing into your tent, which hasn't happened to me yet. And it's just the ease of setup. All you have to do is get home and charge that. This blanket you just always keep in here if you want. So far, I'm happy with it for mild weather. This blanket is doing a great job. Yeah, it's about to be 10 right now. So I'm just going to finish up my night, go to bed soon here. So if anything happens throughout the night, like the blanket shutting off or my power station dying or anything like that, I'll wake up and let you guys know. And I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Good night. Hello everyone. It is 2:36 in the morning, and you might not believe the reason why. I woke up because it's way too hot in my sleeping bag. So I've been sleeping with my heater or my blanket on level 1, but I accidentally clicked the button to level 2 in the night. So I was going to take this top comforter off and go back to sleep, but remember what I said about condensation and with the diesel heater is dry air? Check this out. So I wake up and move around a bit and I feel that everything is a little bit wet. You see that? You see all that moisture? So with no diesel heater, no dry air going in, you can see that's all frost. I never had that before. And all along the bottom, my power station is at 47%, which is awesome. So that means it's burnt about 50% in, start at 7, so that's what, 7.5 hours. It's burnt 50%. So this should last around 15 hours with this heated blanket, which is perfect. This whole wall is wet. This guy not so much, and even though this is a very well insulated tent, you can see when it's really cold out, that's kind of what happens. So I'm gonna give opening a window a try, but it's gonna be cold. Yeah, it's just wet. So I'm gonna open up this window here a little bit to let some air flow in, because there is some going out from the back, which is why I don't usually open a window. But in this case, for the condensation, I'll give that a try. And yeah, that's the update. Lots of condensation, but it is warm. Now I'm gonna go to sleep for the rest of the night, so I'll see you guys in the morning. It's now the next morning. It's 8:45 in the morning. My power station is at 13%. The blanket worked great. It kept me warm all night, so I'm really happy with it. Just the fact of how expensive it is. This electric blanket, although it's warm, costs $100. That power station's $500. So for $600, you can buy a really crazy sleeping bag that'll keep you nice and warm in any climate, like a -30 thick down mummy sleeping bag. And then you don't have to rely on any battery power or your battery dying in the cold. However, just to make it nice and warm and cozy, this blanket does work well, and you would still get condensation with just a warm sleeping bag. So the diesel heater is the only way to avoid condensation, because even with like a propane heater, you're still going to get a bunch of condensation in your tent. So with today's camping trip a success, I'm going to see how quickly I can pack everything up without having to deal with a diesel heater. So let's do that. It's definitely a lot quicker to pack everything up without the diesel heater, and I have a lot more space in my Jeep. Right, everybody, that's all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Write down in the comments below if you guys would use an electric blanket or a diesel heater or a propane heater. Write in the comments below some ideas or recipes I should make for dinner, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for more. I'll see you guys in the next one. See you later.